Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is December the 19th, Thursday, December the 19th. Bunch of games on the board for today. If you didn't get a chance to check out the show last night, I would absolutely go check out the show last night. A lot of nuggets dropped, a lot of information shared by, both myself and the chat. Definitely check out the night show that I did last night. I went live about 8:30 Eastern Standard Time last night. So go check that video out. Not going over all the games that we went over yesterday. There's a couple games that I will jump into, kind of talk out throughout this show, and then we'll get to a quick recap and get up off here, man. It's a lot of NBA action on the board for today. I talked about this yesterday. Quick recap. Cup game. All three leans that I had on the screen were winners, but the only thing that I had was a ticket on OKC just to win because I had them in the cup and they ended up losing. So that's the quick recap. That one did hurt. It was a 2-unit play for me. But the under was a winner. The Damian Lillard under his points was a winner. And then Isaiah Hartenstein over his rebound prop at 11.5 was also a winner. So 3-0 if you tailed any of those, but I didn't make any of those plays official. What up to the gang, man? Justin in here with me as always. Health and Benefits says, yo, what up, Mark? PZ in here, top of the morning, says, Justin says, damn, I got to go catch the show last night. How I miss it? Yeah, we went live about 8:30 last night, man. Go check the show out if you guys missed it. A lot of information in that show last night. What up, Rain Bean? Appreciate you for tapping in. Marquise says, rise and grind, guys. He went 4-0 last night in college. Marquise be killing it. Good luck. Good stuff, bro. Keep going, man. Keep going for sure. What up, Derek? So let's get some winners today. What up, Prestigious Prodigy? Hope all is well with you, bro. King Predictions in here with me as well. Let's jump into it for today, man. We're not going to waste too much time. We'll start with jaXon, as we always do. I wanted to ask jaXon specifically. We talked about jaXon in the video yesterday too, but I wanted to ask jaXon about a game that I kind of didn't have an opinion on at all. Kind of see what jaXon was saying. So we'll go to one of the earlier games, Brooklyn Nets versus Toronto Raptors. So here's the breakdown analysis. We got a Brooklyn Nets team that's 10-16, straight up 15-10-1 against the number. They've been solid against the spread this season, covering 15 of their 26 games, 57.7%, which ranks them 8th in the league so far. On the road, they're 9-4-1 against the spread, so showing strong performances away from home. However, the Nets are on a 3-game losing streak with an average margin of defeat of 16.5 points per game. Their defense has struggled, allowing opponents to shoot 49% from the field and scoring 115 points per game. Got some key injuries, of course, to Cam Thomas with a hamstring, who is a game-time decision, and Zaire Williams, who actually is ruled out of this game. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Toronto 7-20 straight up, but 18-8-1 against the number. The Raptors have been one of the best teams against the spread this season, covering 18 of their 27 games, 66.7%, second best cover rate. The Toronto Raptors. Typically, it's not laying points though. At home, they're even better, 10-3-1 against the number. However, Toronto is on a 5-game losing streak, and they've struggled to close out games, going 0-14 when trailing at halftime this season. Injuries are concerned here, with Scotty Barnes listed as questionable. Jakob Poeltl and Bruce Brown continue to be out. Matchup insight. So we got a Raptors team that struggled offensively in recent games, averaging just 51.6 points in the first half specifically over the last 5 games, compared to a Nets team that's scoring 55.3 points in the first half on the road. Brooklyn's defense has been inconsistent, but they have length and defensive versatility with players like Ben Simmons and Dorian Finney-Smith, Nick Claxton, which could disrupt Toronto's offense. The Nets' Cam Johnson has been a bright spot, averaging 18.5 points per game and shooting 38.5% from 3. He could exploit Toronto's defensive gaps, especially if Barnes is unavailable. So sharp picks, according to sharp betting data, 51.13. So 51.13% of sharp bettors are backing the Nets plus 4.5 here, indicating slight value on the Brooklyn Nets to cover here. A recommendation would be the Brooklyn Nets plus 3.5 by jaXon. The Nets' strong ATS record on the road and Toronto's injury concerns make Brooklyn a solid pick here to cover. Moderate confidence level, moderate. While the Nets have been better against the spread, their recent ATS struggles and Toronto's strong home ATS record add some risk here. And that's what I was kind of thinking about this game as well. Not a game that I'm super interested in betting. I just kind of wanted to see what jaXon would think about it. I think that we all know Brooklyn, is trying their best to lose games, which is why they ended up trading Dennis Schroeder, who will make his debut tonight in Memphis. So Not a game that I'm betting, but I'm interested to see what happens. I'm also interested to see what happens with Scotty Barnes. We know that he didn't play. He hasn't played in the last few games, but he is upgraded to questionable. I don't see Cam Thomas. I know Jackson said Cam Thomas could potentially return in this game. I don't see Cam Thomas out. I don't think that he's going to return. I have to double check that. But from my injury report, I didn't see anything about Cam Thomas potentially being upgraded in the spot. Maybe I missed it. I don't think that I did, though. All right, so that's Jackson. Moving on, let's get into one of the games that we did touch on briefly last night. Injury report actually came out last night in this game. I put it in the Discord. Injury report came out last night in this game. Of course, after I get done, we get an injury report. After I spent an hour and a half breaking the games down, then all of a sudden we get an injury report at close to midnight last night, Eastern Standard Time anyway. But real quick, there was some injury implications in this game. I don't think that the line has moved much at all. You got the Wizards as a 4-point home dog. So injury report for this game: Bud Carrington, illness listed as questionable. Malcolm Brogdon, hamstring, not on the injury report. That's big if you like to watch the Wizards to be able to cover in this matchup, in my opinion. Malcolm Brogdon means a lot to the team defensively, offensively. Kyle Kuzma is going to continue to be out, of course. And I think that was all we saw in this game. I know Corey Kispert, I saw the beat reporter tweet out that Corey Kispert's off the injury report as well. I think all of these guys are off the injury report. And then, of course, we talked about yesterday's show, I talked about on the opposite side, I talked about Brandon Miller rolling his ankle in that game against Philadelphia the other day. He is listed as questionable, did not practice yesterday for people who missed the show last night. So I asked Jackson about the total in this game. Jackson said it like the under. You got two pretty fast-paced teams. LaMelo Ball is back, of course. It'll be a second game back for the Washington Wizards. They play with pace. This is one of the faster-paced teams in the NBA. I think when I was looking at it, they were top 5 in pace, top 5 or top 10 in pace. But offensively, efficiency-wise, I mean, they just shoot a bunch of bricks. It's a brick house being built whenever you see the mansion being built, whenever you see the Washington Wizards play. With Brogdon back, getting some more of their key rotational pieces back, even though they are super young guys, I can see them making a few shots here. Every time I feel like I want to trust Charlotte, they kind of pull a chair from underneath me, and they look pretty terrible. I backed them at home the other day against the Philadelphia 76ers, and they couldn't get a stop. Philly scored 121 points, and we know that the Philadelphia 76ers offense is not that great. So I know I was on Charlotte the last time they played against Philly. Also let the Charlotte Hornets have just regressed a lot on the defensive end. Last 5 games, they gave up only 109 to Chicago, but they only scored 95 points. That was the game with the most threes missed in NBA history. I think it was 75. Against Philly, like I said, they gave up 121. They did beat the Pacers on the second leg of that back-to-back, but Cleveland got 116 against them. The Knicks scored 125. And Philly just kind of has their number, beat them 110 to 104 a couple weeks ago on the 3rd of December. The other thing to talk about in this game is Charlotte. As I mentioned a little bit yesterday, but they are on the first leg of a back-to-back. Charlotte has a game against Philly again tomorrow. So 3rd time in 2 weeks that the Charlotte Hornets will play against the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly tomorrow. Can Charlotte win the game? Yeah, absolutely. Will Washington want to, potentially try to win another game? Absolutely. So probably won't bet the game, but I will tell you guys, Charlotte is 1-0 straight up this season as a favorite, but they did not cover. They were 0-1 as a favorite. That game happened back on October the 30th. They were playing at home against Toronto, did not cover that game. I had Charlotte in that game. I think it was -5.5. They did not cover it. Wizards, when they've been short home dogs, which is not often because typically they're getting double digits. They're 1-2 straight up and against the number. As home dogs, when they're getting 7 or less this season, they did beat the Atlanta Hawks out right in this spot, but they also lost to the Pistons and the Bulls in the 2 most recent games. So I was looking through some trends yesterday, and when you get a spot like this for Charlotte, where it's past game number 20, and you have a win percentage that's less than 30%, and you're a road favorite, those teams do typically win and cover 63% of the time if the game number is past number 20. If their win percentage is less than 30%, and they're a road favorite. So take that for what it's worth. Never betting the Wizards, but with them, getting all their guys back and Brandon Miller potentially not playing in this game, I can see it. I can definitely see it. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. We're gonna keep it moving, man. Not gonna stay to this game too long. What up, She? Says, let's get to it. Blue Mama says, hey, Chris, would love to know your thoughts on the plus 1,600 odds player prop bet. Let me know what you got. What up, Trevor? Appreciate you for tapping back in. Merrill, good morning to you, bro. What up, Jalen? Gambling with Honcho. What's up, bro? Hope all is well with you. Tony says, yo, Chris, how you doing on the season? NBA so far, up and down? I'm down. I'm down on the season. I think 10 units. I'm down on the season. It's been Jekyll and Hyde for me, man. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. One good day, one bad day. 2 good days, 2 bad days. It's been kind of back and forth, but all together, I'm down about 10 units right now in the NBA. I did go through my numbers yesterday. So a lot of room for improvement. Takri says, yo, Chris, what up? Had a question about the Detroit game. Was watching the night show. Don't know if you're going to go over it. Let me know what you got, Takri. We'll talk about it. Blue Mamba says, Chris, I love Miles Bridges to get 30 points at plus 1,600 against the Hornets. He scored 32 and 33 in his last 2 matchups against the Wizards. The 33 was Whit Miller and Ball-in. Thoughts? I mean, I couldn't talk you off of it. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off of it. Especially, I would get ahead of it if you're gonna put a little sprinkle on it, just because if Brandon Miller doesn't play, which he potentially might miss this game, that number's gonna change for sure. So yeah, I could not talk you off of that at all, Blue Mom. But looking at Miles Bridges to go crazy in this game. Tomorrow says, can't back the Hornets as favorite. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that either. Merrill says, LaMelo. We talked about this in the Discord yesterday. Just take LaMelo props to the moon, man. Over 26.5. I don't have $1 on it though. Just my thoughts. King Prediction says, think Jordan Poole puts on another show just like he did against Denver. Let's go Wizards. I think the difference in this game, though, King Prediction, is that Denver overlooked that team. Charlotte has not. I mean, they can't afford to really overlook anybody right now. Charlotte has won 1 of their last 9 games. So this is a winnable game for them. First time that they've been a favorite last time that they were a favorite was December the 30th. It was before Halloween. So this team, I don't think overlooking anybody. We've past Halloween, it's damn near Christmas. I don't think they're going to overlook them at all. They can play really good defense. If I worry about Charlotte, I worry about their ability to be able to score the basketball, but the Wizards defense has been pretty bad. Hornets are a pretty good transition defense. I do think they'll dominate the boards if we just kind of looking at the matchup, but I want nothing to do with this game. I'm actually surprised y'all talking about it. I guess y'all talking about it because I'm talking about it, but I'm surprised we got this many comments about the game. Let's move over to the Nets and the Raptors. We touched on this one just briefly with jaXon here. Like I said, probably not a game that I'm going to play. I know Zaire Williams is ruled out. Jakob Poeltl is also ruled out. And Scotty Barnes is listed as questionable in this game. So real quick, I wanted to touch on the Toronto side just really quickly with Jakob Poeltl on and off the floor because the splits were drastic. We talked about this when they were playing against OKC I think it was one day like 2 weeks ago. When they played against OKC, they got absolutely obliterated in that game. And don't get it twisted. The Nets are nothing like OKC. But what Toronto Raptors do really, really well is offensive rebound and basketball. Without Jakob Poeltl, that could be a problem for them. Creating second chance opportunities, limited teams to get back in transition through getting rebounds. With Jakob Poeltl on the floor, this team's only getting outscored by about 3 points per 100 possessions, are the Toronto Raptors. Scoring 113.5 points. And giving up 116.5 points with Jakob Poeltl on the floor. That's drastic because without Jakob Poeltl, that minus 2.9 point differential that they're getting outscored by balloons to minus 7.2, scoring just 108.5 points per 100 possessions and giving up 116. Now, do the Nets want to win games? I'm not sure. I don't think that they do. But this does open the door for that. If we look at starting lineup for the Brooklyn Nets, Ben Simmons, Keon Johnson, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Nicholas Claxton. I mean, they still got some NBA players on the team. You're going to need a big performance from, in my opinion, you're going to need somebody like Grady Dick to be able to stretch the floor. Last night, we talked about RJ Barrett up and over his rebound prop. 7.5 was plus money. I do think that he's going to, potentially could play well in this spot. And then you got Abaji in there. And Ochai Agbaji and Kelly Olynyk look like he's going to play the center. So Nicholas Claxton should absolutely eat. I was going through this game and kind of looking at it from a player prop perspective. A lot of the stuff from the Brooklyn Nets are not listed yet. Shake Milton has had like a extremely high usage rate. I want to say like 3rd highest usage rate over the last 2 games without Dennis Schroeder there in the last one. And yeah, I mean, how else are the points gonna come, right? Like, does Cam Johnson step up? Shake Milton step up? Ben Simmons, does he step up? Like, there's not a lot of rim protection on the Toronto side without Jakob Poeltl being there. So Brooklyn wanted to score in this game. Like, I think that this could be the game that they score. I know that their offense has been pretty poor recently, though. Like I said, not a game that I'm going to play, but just kind of talking out some thoughts. I was looking for some Shake Milton props, some, Dayton Sharp props, maybe Nicholas Claxton, but I didn't get there on anything in this game. Probably not a game that I'm a play. Going back to the last one. What up, Call Me Aries? Has finally caught a live show. Appreciate you for tapping in, my brother. Really like LaMelo over his rebounds and assists. Been a money machine, Jalen says, going back to that last game. Mark says, I'm on LaMelo and the -3.5. Melo going off. Peter says 39 points, rebounds, and assists, -120. Yeah, I think LaMelo could absolutely get whatever it is that he wants in this game, especially if his shot's falling from three. We know he's going to shoot 13, 14 3-pointers, most likely, double-digit 3-pointers at least. And if no Brandon Miller's there, it's going to be a big LaMelo game or a big Bridges game, so I couldn't talk you guys off of either one. Thoughts on Ben Simmons' assists? Yeah, I could see him having a pretty big game, Colin. Pretty big game, especially without Toronto having some rim protection. I don't trust them either, Call Me Aries. Don't trust them at all. But Toronto is a favorite. I don't know how much I really trust that either, which is why, like I said, I'm off of this game. Real quick, the Raptors as a favorite are first time all season. Oh, wow. Okay. Raptors first time all season being a favorite. That is interesting. 10-3-1 against the number at the crib, but never been a favorite. Even against the Bulls last game, they were getting one. And they ended up losing the game by one. But that was the shortest line for them. Yeah, they've won a couple times as a short favorite, as a short dog at home. Beat the Pacers outright by 3. Beat the Heat outright by getting 5. Beat the Pacers again outright, getting 3. So they have been a feisty team. I can't bet them on them as a favorite. I can't do it. LJ says Nets haven't won a game on the road versus the East yet. Raptors 14-4-1. ATS off a loss. So he sounds like he likes the Raps in this spot. Tomorrow says Nets said nothing can fade a team after they lost how the Nets did. And the Nets, last time we saw the Nets play, they got smoked by the Grizzlies, right? I want to say it was by the Grizzlies last time we saw the Nets play. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, by the Cavs. Then it was the Grizzlies. They lost by 29 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they got smoked early in that game. That was over with before it started. I think they were down by like 25, 30 points at halftime, I want to say. So good point by Tomorrow here. He says total seems low too. Yeah, I do think that this could be an over game, especially without Jakob Poeltl. I can see the pace being pushed. Over would be the only way that I'm playing. Nets are 3-0 to the over their last 3 games, not stopping anybody. Bucks had 118, Grizzlies had 135, Cavs had 130. And I feel like the Raptors should be able to score the basketball as well. Raptors went over against the Bulls, 121-122, under against the Heat, under against the Knicks, over against the Mavs. So 2-2 to the over-under last 10 games. Merrill says Ben Simmons over his rebounds, 12.5 and assists. DJ Prop says betting NBA after the Cup game is iffy. We don't really know if the player's motivation until Christmas game. I talked about this last night, man. Talked about it last night. Peter says Claxton combo 22, Toronto bad versus centers, and without Poeltl, give me that -125. I can see it. Could definitely see it. King Prediction says take the Raptors on the money line. Kendrick says I took the Raptors -4. I'm going to keep saying that the Nets are a dead team. The front office obviously doesn't want to win. And I agree with that. Just don't know how much I like the Raptors as a favorite, especially laying this type of number. 2 possessions without their starting center and rim protection. I can't quite get there. Last game I wanted to go over, and like I said, I'll just briefly mention this as well. We went over a ton of games last night. Knicks, Memphis, Houston, New Orleans, Lakers, and Kings, Pacers, and Suns. We touched on Clippers and Mavs. Like we went over a lot of games last night, so I'm not going over all those games again. So check the video out from last night if you guys joined late. But it's a ton of information in the video from last night. I even already went back and broke it up into chapters for you guys. So let's go over the Warriors and Grizzlies. We know how how feisty of a matchup this can be. We'll start with the injury report really quickly, and there are some injuries. It's one of the reasons why I'm not gonna play this one yet either. Dennis Schroeder should make his season debut for the Golden State Warriors in this game. We know that he was just in Memphis about a week and a half ago, maybe even a week ago, when him and the Nets kind of got into it with the Memphis Grizzlies. So will the Grizzlies get up for this game? I absolutely think so. We know that there's already a rivalry between the Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies as well, but he should make his return, should make his season debut for the Golden State Warriors. Now on the opposite side, Moses Moody is listed as, I think I saw him as doubtful. Even on the screen, I'm seeing out. I think he is listed as doubtful. Probably won't play in this game. On the Memphis side, Ja Morant is questionable. It's a back injury that he's dealing with. And Marcus Smart is also listed as doubtful with a shoulder injury. Jay Huff looks like he's out. Of course, no Gigi Jackson, then no Vince Williams. Those guys are trying to get back into it as well. Yeah, Huff is going to be out. And that, to me, I think that's big. You do get Zach Edey back. He did play in that last game. Couldn't talk anyone looking at Zach Edey up and over his rebounds prop. Not even sure what the line is, but I know that the Warriors absolutely bleed rebounds to the center position. Like he should absolutely be able to dominate the glass in this spot. Zach Edey, in my opinion, here. With Ja Morant potentially being listed as questionable, I do think that first of all, I think Ja Morant's gonna play, but that's just my thought process. I kind of feel like on a Thursday night, after all the rest that the teams that they've gotten, I kind of feel like, I think it's 2 days rest, 3 days rest for the Memphis Grizzlies. I kind of feel like Ja Morant's gonna play. The Grizzlies are going crazy, specifically at the crib. And the Golden State Warriors, last time we saw them play, they gave up damn near 400 points against the Dallas Mavericks the other day. Literally could not stop a team from shooting a three. Do think that this game's going to be played with pace. That's the way the Warriors typically play. And the Warriors have kind of hit a tailspin. Working Schroeder working Schroeder into the rotation could be, I think it's long-term, it's going to be really successful for him. Kind of get Steph going off ball a little bit. You got another guy that can play make and defend. Low-key kind of jealous as a Laker fan that Schroeder went to Golden State, but neither here nor there. First game though, I don't know if I would want to take the points with Golden State in this spot. I think Memphis at the crib could be the right side here. Memphis is one of the better ATS teams at the crib. We know that they go crazy at the crib, man. Grizzlies are typically better on at the crib or kind of stay away. And I know that the Warriors are, a superior team in the NBA in my opinion still, but I'm not betting against the Grizzlies at the crib. You probably can get this line open 3.5 is down to 2. Grizzlies are 12-3 straight up at the crib, 11-4 against the number. They've actually won. What is this? 7 straight games at the crib, covered 6 of the 7 as well. 11 of their last 12 they've won at the crib. Like this isn't a team that you necessarily want to fade, man. The Warriors, I feel like they're going through a little bit of a tailspin, like I said. Lost to the Mavs, lost to the Rockets. They did beat the Timberwolves, but before that, they also lost to the Timberwolves. Beat the Rockets before that, lost to the Nuggets, lost to the Suns. Like this team is kind of going backwards. Very symbolic to the Lakers. I think they're 2-8 straight up in their last 10 games. I'm not saying that they won't be motivated for this game. They're just in a brutal spot in their schedule as well. Like it's a lot of difficult game for this team. They have literally played against the Thunder, the Suns, the Nuggets, the Rockets, the Timberwolves, the Rockets, the Mavericks. They got the Grizzlies tonight. 2 days off and 1 day off, and then on Saturday they got the Timberwolves again. Then they got the Pacers coming to town, Lakers, Clippers, Suns, Cavs. Like there's no breakup in their schedule for like an easy game. Like they probably dying to see the Wizards again, see the Nets again. So yeah, I think I kind of feel like it's Grizzlies or nothing for me. I see PZ says as well, -2.5. If you want to get in right now, before Ja Morant gets ruled in, you probably could, beat the number. But I do think this goes back up. I think it does go back up. Also, we got to remember last time we saw the Grizzlies. Last time we saw the Grizzlies, what happened? They lost to the Lakers. That's what I thought on Sunday. We're laying 2.5 points in that game. LeBron came back. And they won that game out. They lost that game outright. Only scored 110 points. So you would expect a little bit of regression for for the Memphis Grizzlies. Before that, they were on a 4-game winning streak, and won and covered all 4 after losing to the Mavericks. Won and covered against the Kings, the Celtics, the Wizards, and the Nets before losing to the Lakers. They do got a game against the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday is the next game for the Grizzlies. So that's what we got in that game. Let's see what you guys are thinking in the comments. Jacob says he's on the opposite side. He grabbed the Warriors plus 3.5. He says just like Ja get ruled out, so Jared Jackson Jr. 18.5 points get even more CLV. Yeah, Jared Jackson Jr. been balling for people who haven't been paying attention. Marquis says he likes it as well. 27.5 points plus rebounds. Schroeder got beef with everybody tomorrow. It's Taylor Jenkins. It's Ja. I don't think he like nobody. And I think that's cool. Like the fire underneath the Memphis Grizzlies in this spot. Like they'll be motivated for this game. They were motivated for the last game because the Brooklyn Nets had beat them twice already this season as well. Call Me Aries says over on the Grizzlies team total here. Scottie Pippen Jr. over his 3.5 assists. I think this is a really good line, Merrill, especially if Ja Morant gets ruled out. If you can get that early, I couldn't talk you off at all. Merrill says Jared Jackson Jr. over his 5.5 rebounds. Jacob says I think Ja gonna play too. That test he's ahead. DJ Prop says I expect Schroeder to be the top scorer on the Warriors second unit. He might go crazy in his debut versus the Grizzlies coach. I mean, it's a lot of motivation here for sure. What up, Prolific? Says let's stay blessed and put the boogies to rest. I like it. Rim is too big for the Grizzlies. Took their team total over for Memphis. King Prediction says. Winter Life says under 236. I can't get to a side. I don't know if I could take under. Grizzlies only play one way, and it's super fast. They're the fastest paced team over the last 5 games. All they want to do is run. They got a lot of depth. Luke Kennard is back now. I don't like that Huff is out, but I don't know. I think Memphis is the better team. Specifically right now, Memphis is a much better team. Yeah, Wizards got to catch strays tomorrow. Always got to catch strays. What's up, Charles? Appreciate you for tapping in. Merrill says he likes under. I'm interested to see how this works out as well. And you know, we talk about this at the beginning of the season, right? With Karl-Anthony Towns, with Julius Randle, with both of the teams kind of struggling out the gate. I feel like the same thing could potentially happen here with Schroeder. Like, but the Golden State struggled out the gate, it wouldn't surprise me trying to implement Schroeder into the lineup. Justin says he's going to get on the Grizzlies minus the 2.5. I'll add it to the short list. Here. And honestly, I think that was the last game, man. Like I said, I've been through all the other games. I wanted to kind of keep the show short today. If you guys are, yeah, we went through all the rest of the games, but majority of the rest of the games last night. This is what I had on the short list last night. I'm not going through all of these again. I played Cade Cunningham up and over his 9.5 assists. Sent that out 2 days ago now. The Utah and Detroit game, I talked about leaning towards the over yesterday. This up from 226.5. Actually, the total right now is you still can get 228. Looks like it's available. 227.5 available on ESPN Bet. I would still go over. Utah Jazz defense is terrible right now. They've given up 130 or more in 3 straight games. I do think that Detroit should be able to find some success from the 3-point line. They are a top 5 3-point shooting team over the last 5 games. Interested to see what happens with Ivy. I talked about him being questionable. Not just him, but Tobias Harris and Isaiah Stewart not laying points with Detroit. But if all those guys are rolled in, I probably would lay the 4.5. Karl-Anthony Towns, I put it on the graphic last night, up and over his 16.5 rebounds and assists. 9 of his last 10 games, Karl-Anthony Towns has cashed. And he's back home in Minnesota. You know he's going to get up for this game. The total between the Knicks and the Timberwolves, go back and check out the video last night. I went through that total. It's actually my favorite total on the board for today. 215. The numbers kind of fluctuate. Last night it was 215. It went down to 214.5. Now I see 215 on FanDuel, but everybody else got 214.5. I do like the under a lot. I think that's going to be a grinded out, slow pace game. 2 top 10 defensive teams. You can say top 5 defensive teams The Timberwolves are not great offensively. They are actually 23rd, I think, in offensive efficiency over their last 5 games, and both teams bottom 10 in pace as well. I do think that's going to be a grinded out style game. So under 215 would be my recommendation in that game. I had Houston minus the 10 last night. Didn't play it, but Sengun is listed as questionable. So don't like that as much at all. This number is coming back down. It's down to 8.5 now. If Sengun gets ruled in, Houston should absolutely mollywop the Pelicans, in my opinion. I did the breakdown on that game last night as well. Didn't move on it. Glad I did not move on it. But 8.5 is look like it's the number available right now. And then that Pacers plus 7 is gone. We talked about taking the Pacers last night plus 7. Number's gone. It's down to 6.5 now. And I agree with the money coming in on the Pacers here. I think 7 is too much for a Phoenix team that's 2-6 against the spread at home. So that's the way that I will be looking in that game. It's a couple other games that I do want to have a little bit of action on. But I'm kind of waiting for the injury report. We got a lot of question marks in these games today. DJ Prop mentioned it as well. Kind of just thinking about the motivation for some of these teams. Christmas is 6 days away. Some of these teams already checked out, man. Some of them already checked out. So I would go kind of light today as far as unit goes, would be my recommendation. But these are some of the plays that I'm liking. I would take Houston off, of course, until I found out the Sengun news. I do like Minnesota and New York under as much as I like Utah and Detroit to go up and over. Cade, my favorite player prop today, and Carlton Towns up and over his rebounds and assists as well. So these would be my thoughts for today's games, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Like I mentioned earlier, if you missed the night show, go back and check it out. Bunch of insight in that game. Check it out if you guys are interested in the rest of the games. Pretty much every single game. I think I didn't touch on Atlanta and San Antonio and Denver and Portland. We didn't really jump too much into, but everything else is broken down last night. Chicago and Boston, I didn't really touch too much into either, just because of the injury report. But everything else, I think, is pretty much broken down. Resources are here as always. Definitely check these out if you guys are interested. Referral codes for everything that I use to handicap the games are in the description of the video. Best of luck on whatever it is that you're playing on this beautiful Thursday, man. I hope you guys get some cash. I will see you tomorrow for ChrisBeCappinn Show. Back in the morning.